Did you know only 38.5% of Americans under 35 own a home? And as someone who's well under 35, my hope is that we increase this stat significantly. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Scarlett from Miss Money, and we're doing things a little bit differently today. Usually I cover stocks and crypto, but today I wanted to talk about something I'm super passionate about, and that's real estate. So I want to talk about how you can buy a house even if you don't make a lot of money. You know, not everyone makes six figures. Not everyone has rich parents to give them $100K to put down for a down payment on a home or property. And I just want to break down that it really is possible to own a home even if you don't have a lot of money. Here's what you can do if you're in this situation where you're like, I want to buy a property, I want to buy a home, but I just don't think I can. So the first thing to consider, number one, is house hacking. House hacking is one of my favorite ways to buy a home, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a family or you don't mind that type of lifestyle. And if you're not familiar, house hacking is essentially you take either a spare room, a garage, a detached guest house, and you rent it out. I mean, it's a fantastic way to have your tenants pay your mortgage for you. What you charge for rent will obviously depend on where you are. You know, if you're somewhere like in LA and you have a detached garage and it's a nice renovated studio, you could definitely rent it out for $1,500 a month, which is pretty nice, right? And you know, the thing that is what kind of sucks about house hacking, or some cons I should say, you have to be okay with the lifestyle because there is someone else living in your home, whether it is the spare room, the garage, the guest house. You also have to, you know, form an LLC and all that, but it's totally worth it if you can cut your monthly mortgage payments significantly with house hacking. And another method through house hacking in particular is if you purchase a duplex. So it might be more expensive depending on where you are, but that's half the mortgage payment. So you purchase a duplex, you live in one unit, and then you rent out the other. And it's a lot easier to manage just one unit compared to, you know, managing a multi-family building. And listen, if you outgrow the duplex unit, you can move to a bigger, better property and rent out 2 units in the duplex, which is just a nice bonus of having that equity. So another option for buying a home or property, if you don't have a lot of money or you feel like you can't, is this thing called Tenants in Common. And Tenants in Common is often forgotten about, or a lot of people haven't even heard of it. And if you're in an expensive area like LA, San Francisco, or New York City, this is seriously a fantastic option. Look, the median home price in LA County is $700,000. And if you're in LA proper, $1 million is the norm for a home, which is crazy. But, you know, if you need to be close to work, if you have an incredible job in LA, you make 6 figures, but you still can't afford $1 million home, Tenants in Common is a nice option. Through this method, property is owned by more than one person at a time. So you could potentially buy a duplex with your friend, and you are co-owners. Again, this is dependent on your lifestyle, but it's an affordable option that allows you to build equity, and especially if you don't think you can afford a home on your own. The third option is an FHA loan, which is very popular. So you really don't need 20% to buy a home. You don't need that 20% down payment. With an FHA loan, you can put down as little as 3.5%. So you don't have to have rich parents, or you don't have to save 20% for a home. And this is a great option. And there are specific requirements. And remember that your mortgage payments may be higher in effect. I will say that I want to be realistic here because the real estate market right now is super competitive. There's a low supply of homes. Interest rates are at an all-time low. Lots of people want to buy. So if you don't have 20% to put down, you may not be the most desirable candidate. In fact, in urban areas, you're also competing with real estate investors who give all cash offers. So just something to note. But if you're in a less competitive market, the FHA loan is a great option to go because it is only that 3.5% down payment, which is a lot more affordable than 20% down. The fourth option I want to talk about is lease to loan contract. So if you are renting a house and want to buy it, you may want to talk to the owner about what's called a lease to own or land contract. This type of purchase is perfect for anyone that wants to purchase a house but doesn't quite have the down payment needed or is in the process of rebuilding credit. Typically, a lease to loan requires a small down payment and an agreement regarding how much of the rent payment will go towards purchasing the home. You and the landlord will also agree upon how long the rent to own period will last, and after that time expires, you apply for a mortgage to complete the purchase. This allows you to apply for a mortgage when you have more chance of approval after rebuilding your credit. And I think this is a great option to go. So our fifth option are first-time homebuyer programs. I'm not going to go over all of them because there are a lot, and I think people don't take advantage of the first-time homebuyer programs out there. Maybe it's because they're actually scared of buying property or because they weren't aware. If this is your first time buying a home or property, there are so many resources available to help you navigate these unfamiliar waters. Fortunately, there are also some programs available at both the local and national level that offer financial assistance to new homebuyers, and in some cases to previous homeowners as well. It could be worth looking into local programs, state programs, nonprofits, all of that. And sometimes you really do have to get location specific, so look in your desired area and see if they have a program to help with the down payment or anything like that. A lot of these programs do have income level ceilings or limits, so just to be aware of that, if they say like, hey, you have to make less than $150K a year to qualify, just something to look out for. So a sixth option, this isn't really buying a home altogether, this is just something to save money in the process, but it is possible to have the seller pay the closing costs. You know, oftentimes people forget how expensive closing costs can be. They can really sneak up on you, and usually people don't know this, but you can have the seller pay the closing costs. Having your closing costs paid by the seller depends on a number of factors, including the current real estate market in your area. In a buyer's market where the supply of homes exceeds demand, it may not be unreasonable to ask a seller to pay some or all closing costs. However, in a seller's market, which we are right now, where the demand for homes exceeds the supply, the likelihood of a seller contributing toward your closing costs may be slim. It's certainly worth inquiring since many sellers want to move quickly and find it worthwhile to negotiate in order to ensure the sale closes in a timely manner. Okay guys, so the seventh and last one I want to talk about is consider moving somewhere inexpensive. I know, but if you're able to and your job allows it, like if you work from home, perhaps it's best to buy property in a cheaper area. And actually, you know what else you can do if you really want to buy property but still live where you live? You can do that and rent out the property. And I'm gonna talk about an example. So I have a friend who lives in Los Angeles, works in Los Angeles. She has a great job, but she owns a house in Arizona. So she rents out that house and makes amazing passive income from it. And because Arizona is significantly cheaper than LA, she doesn't have to pay things like high property taxes or, like earthquake insurance. And additionally, since it's a single family home, managing one house is fairly easy. And she only has to go to the property maybe once a year. So if you live in an expensive area and you want to own property, maybe look at investing out of state. It doesn't mean you have to live there. You can just rent it out, and if someday you want to move there, great. If not, you could potentially sell the property for a nice little profit. And the friend I'm referencing actually bought that house in Arizona 8 years ago for only $100,000, and now it's worth $300,000, just to give you guys an idea of how great and beneficial this option can be. And I hope this encourages people, especially the young people out there, that owning property is possible even when it seems daunting or crazy. I am worried that we do have this low inventory and low interest rates going on right now. To me, this means home prices will continue to go up and up as long as the inventory is low. So maybe now is the right time to get creative and figure out a way to own a place. And hopefully you choose one of the options I mentioned because I think they're fantastic options. And even if you don't have rich parents who can give you that down payment, even if you didn't save for years on end or, get lucky with the stock market for that down payment, it is possible to make this happen. And I really encourage, especially those millennials and Gen Z who, are looking to buy a home, to figure out and get a way in, especially, before these, if these home prices just keep going up and up and up, get in now. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm Scarlett from Miss Money, and catch me next time.